Hello and welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture we will learn how to go ahead and add something over here so that we know that the user is logged in. So right now we don't know if the user is logged in or not, and hence our aim is to add something to this particular navigation bar right here so that whenever we are logged in it should say something like log out, and whenever we are logged out it should say something like login. So how exactly can we go ahead and do that? So we all know that this particular navigation bar is actually designed in the base.html file. So in order to go ahead and make some changes over here, we need to go ahead and go to base.html file, which is this file right here, which is nothing but the file which contains our navigation bar. So as you can see, this is our nav bar right here. So in this particular nav bar, we need to add a logout option whenever the user is logged in, and whenever the user is logged out, we need to display the login option. So how exactly do we know when the user is logged in and when the user is logged out? So in order to do that, Django actually provides us with a variable which contains the current user, and it also contains the information about the current user, that is if the current user is authenticated or not. So using that particular variable, we can identify if the user is logged in or logged out. So what we do here is that we add a conditional. So I'm just going to type in the syntax, which is this syntax right here, and then I'm going to type in if, and then we need to access the user variable which Django provides. So I'll type in if user dot is underscore authenticated. So this is authenticated attribute of the user is going to tell us if the current user is authenticated or not. And if the current user is authenticated, we want to display the logout option. So I'll type in ahref. That's going to be the URL for logout. So in here, the URL for logout is URL, and then the name of that URL is simply logout. So I'll type that thing over here, and let's name this thing as logout. So when the user is logged in, that is the user is authenticated, then we want to display this, or else we want to display login, which means that if the user is not authenticated, then we want to display the login option. So here I'll type in else, and then in the else block we will go ahead and type in ahref and the URL for login, which is nothing but login itself. So I'll type in URL login, and I'll simply type in login as the display name of this URL. And now finally we end this particular if block by typing in end if. So once we go ahead and do that, we are pretty much good to go. So now let's go back over here and now hit refresh, and as you can see, as the user is currently not logged in, it's showing us the login option. So when I go ahead and click login, it's going to ask me to enter the username and password. So I'll go ahead and do that. So let me just go ahead and log in. So now once I'm logged in, as you can see, now this thing shows the option to log out. So when I again go back and click on logout, and when we are logged out, and now when I try to go ahead and access this particular page, now as I am logged out, it's going to again show me back the option to log in. So that means now we at least know that when we are actually logged in into a website, logged in into a web app, and when we are not. So that's how you can go ahead and identify if the user is logged in or logged out by using the user variable, which is the user, and then in that we are actually going to access the attribute which is authenticated. So this is authenticated attribute lets us know if the current user is logged in or logged out, and making use of the same, we have put up a conditional statement over here in the navigation bar. So whenever the user is logged in, it's going to show us the logout option, and whenever the user is logged out, it's going to show us the login option. So that's it for this lecture, and hopefully you guys were able to understand how to add this functionality. Now the only thing which remains is that using this particular login and logout functionality, we need to put certain restrictions on certain routes, which means that currently if you go to this page right here, as you can see, this page is accessible by anyone, which means that even if you are logged out, you can still access this particular page. But let's say if you want to restrict access to certain pages to only the logged in users. So in the next lecture, we will learn how exactly we can do that. That is how to restrict access to certain pages to just the logged in users. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.